You are listening to the Boss Experience Podcast, a podcast with conversations about business growth, self-development, and maintaining a mindset to achieve business success. My name is Michelle Davis, and I am a business strategist and coach, and I am your host. Let's get started.
Welcome to another episode of the Boss Experience Podcast. My name is Michelle Davis, and I'm your host. And the Boss Experience is the podcast that helps you turn your expertise into an online coaching business that replaces your 9-to-5 income. So I'm glad you're joining me for another episode, and I'm so excited that you're here. I have a special guest with me, a gentleman by the name of Obed Burgess, whom I'll introduce in a moment. But today's topic is 5 lessons learned from successful entrepreneurs. Obed is an entrepreneur in his own right. He's also a podcaster, an actor, writer, director, and he is the CEO of Out of the Womb Entertainment. So he has a lot to share. He's host of Red Cup Talks that airs on Instagram. And so he'll share about that. And so he's basically going to be sharing the lessons he's learned over the years and how he started Red Cup Talks and what that show is about, as well as everything else that's going on. Because what ends up happening, when we hit the internet streets looking for that online business to start, we hit a lot of bumps, we hit a lot of roads, we get a lot of trash. We pick up a lot of trash on the way there. And so, it's really important that we focus on, the true meaning of success, because, a lot of what we hear online is rubbish. You're going to automatically get the blueprint to a 6-figure business, and you don't even know how to make 4 figures in your business. You don't even know how to get the sale. There's more to being an entrepreneur than just making those 6 figures. You need to learn the business. And once you learn the business, then all of those things come. And so I'm so excited to have Obed Burgess in the house. As podcasters, we meet a lot of people, and we meet a lot of people. He's had, so many entrepreneurs over the years. He's even had a celebrity or two on his show. And so I'm going to shut up at this point because Obed has so much to bring to the table, and I'm going to let him talk.
Are you trying to turn your expertise into an online coaching business that replaces your 9-to-5 income? If so, tell me if this sounds familiar. You took a coaching certification class, but still don't know how to develop a coaching business or get clients. You bought a course only to never implement what you learned, or worse, you still don't know where to start. Or maybe you're struggling to piece together a bunch of free information you find online, hoping and praying for results, only to still be confused. The key to earning revenue in your online coaching business is having a process to get the right people contacting you about enrolling in your programs and services. You also need a coaching offer that gets results for your clients, in addition to you being able to charge a premium price for your services. So if you need help putting these pieces together, my name is Michelle Davis, and I am the host of the Boss Experience Podcast, in addition to being a phenomenal business coach. And I created a free short video explaining where to begin when it comes to starting an online coaching business that replaces your 9-to-5 income. Just go to CEOBlueprintAcademy.com to get instant access now. That's CEOBlueprintAcademy.com. Okay, back to the show.
Before we get into those 5 lessons, Obed, who is Obed Burgess? Tell the audience who you are.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's an interesting question. I always like asking that question, but when I'm asked it, it's weird. I am a human being. I will mess up. I will make mistakes, but I'll get back up again and make things happen. So a lot of people like to say, I'm this, I'm that. I'm a superhero. I'm a super thug. I am a human being trying to be great, reaching for greatness, but knowing my limitations and loving life. That's who I am. As of today, is this August 17th?
Yeah. Where did the year go? Yeah. Yeah,
As of
August 16th.
today, I am a human being. Tomorrow, I don't know.
Tell us about your life as entrepreneur, podcaster, actor, writer, director. Let's start with the podcaster
You forgot
piece.
one last thing. You forgot
And
sex symbol. Gospel
oh,
sex symbol.
yes, gospel sex symbol. Yes.
Never would have made it. Amen. But yeah. But yes, I forgot the question. You said, tell us about the podcast.
Yeah, let's start. Let's talk about your journey before we jump into the lessons. Let's talk about your journey as an entrepreneur, podcaster. I know your story behind Red Cup Talks because we've known each other for a while. But tell the audience, like where did you even come up with the concept? What's the reason for the concept? What the Red Cup is all about? And yeah.
So Red Cup Talks, the actual idea came years ago. I'm talking probably 2012, 2014. I always loved to interview people. I was a part of a little YouTube show called Fed Up Uncensored, where me and some friends got together. We would literally walk around New York City and ask people what they were fed up about. And it was fun. It was hilarious. But, things happen, and from that experience, wanting to, you always see people with success stories. And I always want to know how. Everyone talks about, I used to be homeless and this, that, third, and now they're here. Well, how did that happen? So I would bump into random people that were successful and ask them questions. So I do Uber from time to time. And one guy, he was a filmmaker. He was actually filming a documentary. And I asked him, what inspired you to, actually do this? Like, he said, just do it. And from that, life happened. And then 2020 happened and everything that went on, loss and things of that nature happened. And I was sitting down, realizing that life is really, really short. So you might as well start doing something. So I invited a good friend of mine, Matthew Johnson, shout out to you. And we were on the Instagram, first interview. I said, hey, make sure you have a drink because we're going to do a toast, whatever it may be. And he said, hey, listen, man, maybe you should call this Red Cup Talks. I said, what? Yeah, Red Cup Talks. That'll be dope. I said, you know what? I'm from Brooklyn, so I'm going to steal that. And so far, so good. I copyrighted it and everything. And it's been a journey because the funniest thing happened for me. I noticed that when you're around friends, family, you guys are having, a drink or whatever it may be, and you sit down and you talk, it's real conversations. And with Red Cup Talks, I wanted it to be real conversations on how people got to where they are. And they may not be mainstream or popular in other people's eyes, but they're doing something. And that's what Red Cup Talks came about. So.
Awesome. Yeah. Awesome. And now, in addition to being a podcaster, you're also an actor, writer, director, and you are CEO of Out of the Womb Entertainment. So can you tell us a little bit about that? Out the Womb Entertainment. Tell us about that.
I know it doesn't make sense grammatically, but Out the Womb Entertainment. So Out the Womb Entertainment. So yes, I have been acting, I want to say, since I was a child. And I got the opportunity at an early age, I think around 15 or 16, to write for my church's play. And they're like, hey, we need a play, looking for ideas. And shouts out to Nicole Robinson. She said, hey, you want to write? I said, yeah, sure. Actually, no, I went up to her and asked, could I write for, I think it was a Christmas play or something like that. And I just used my brain, literally just, wrote down some ideas, wrote it out. I don't remember the actual title of it, but it was decent. Everybody enjoyed it and everyone was cheering me on. So I just kept doing it and kept doing it. And then there was a time where I gave up. I literally just put it aside to work and take care of my family, things of that nature. And I think around 2019, I decided to go back to a church, and my church, home church, Nazareth Christian Fellowship, and a young lady who I've followed her work for years, she attends that same church, and she was like, listen, whatever you need, I'm here. Now, mind you, I haven't written in years. This is around 2019, I believe, 2019, 2020, New Year's Eve. She's like, whatever you need, I got you. I was like, okay, and I had some ideas lingering around my head, but I just never had the time to write it down. And from that day on, I decided to write down my first film that's going to be released out the Womb Entertainment. It's called Destiny. And at first it was going to be a photo shoot. I do also model, just in case. Just throwing it out there. Again,
that's where that gospel sex symbol, right?
Exactly. So I wanted to just use it as a photo shoot, just use photos and tell a story behind that. And it went from that to writing it down and say, you know what, let's do this, let's do that. And while writing it, I decided, you know what, let's make this official. And so I made it an LLC and it trademarked the name and everything. And it's been a journey. It's been a journey. But, I just got to finish strong. So we're finishing strong. We literally have one more scene to film. So I'm really excited about that. And that's what the name Out the Womb Entertainment came from a text message I got from my late pastor. He was sending us a text and it simply said, you got to give birth. You got to give birth to your ideas. You got to give birth to your vision. And at that time, I'm literally thinking, what's a good name to have? And then I saw it. I was like, wait a minute. Out the Womb. I got it. I actually sent the text. I don't know if I have that saved, but yeah, that's where it came from. My late pastor, Roberto Jamal, he said that, and that's where I got the name, more or less inspired the name Out the Womb Entertainment, because having a film, doing any project in general, but definitely with film for me, not that I know what it feels like, because, hey, I give it to you. You know what it feels like. But it's like giving birth in a sense, like you have an idea, it's in your mind. There's struggles, of course, finding the right cast members, having chemistry, writing down the actual guidelines to the actual film, and then writing it down, writing the script, getting it out there. So there's a struggle, but once you finish it and you give birth to that idea, you have the baby of Destiny Film Project and other film projects that I'm currently working on. So Out the Womb Entertainment is that. It's my baby. It's my mental baby giving out to the world, and hopefully the world enjoys it and enjoys my film children.
Well, the famous quote by the great Les Brown, where he says, the graveyard houses the most dreams, because people often have ideas and they have dreams and they convince themselves to never, ever pursue their dreams. And so I just want to commend you for having vision and pursuing your dreams. And maybe that's actually the first lesson. Yeah, I didn't bring my red cup. It's a little early for me, but...
What? Well, it's 5 o'clock. Whatever.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere, right?
Yeah.
And there's orange juice in there.
Amen. That's right. Ginger ale.
Right.
Ginger ale.
Yeah. So maybe, when you think about pursuing your dreams, because as an entrepreneur, it's all about pursuing your dreams, because people think that, it's easy. It's something that they can just hop into because they saw someone online being successful. So I just want to jump into these lessons, because you've had, the gamut. You have your own story. You have the stories of how many people have you interviewed? Have you ever counted? What episode are you on right now?
Man, we're in season 4. So I'm going to say it's in the 40s. I want to say it's in the 40s. I want to say it's in the 40s because it's different seasons, different episodes. But I want to say it's in the 40s.
Yeah. So you've had everyone from your New York-based entrepreneurs. You even had one of the famous, someone from a famous comedy duo.
Tommy Chung.
Yeah.
Tommy Chung.
Who's also an entrepreneur. And you've had a lot of people on your show. So I just want you to, can you take a few minutes and talk about the lessons you've learned? Sure. One is don't give up on your dream.
Yes. No, that's essential. Don't give up on your dreams. While I interview folks, I usually get inspiration, like knowingly or unknowingly, they just provide inspiration. Because sometimes, you're doing your podcast and you like, is it worth it? No one really watches it. And you have those that will come by and say slick stuff and just walk away. And that's so annoying. But I've learned through the examples of others not to give up. And the funniest things that always happen is I'll be like, hey, you're a great so-and-so. You're a great artist. You're a great comedian. You're a great entrepreneur. And they'll be like, what? Not me. I'm like, what are you talking? Like, you're great. Like, you've been doing it for quite some time. I've watched you from afar. And yet, to themselves, at times it seems as if they're not great, or they still want more. And what I've learned is that someone's always watching. And so you can't give up. Don't give up. You're literally inspiration to someone else. When people inbox me, hey, this was I needed that. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm doing something. So that's one lesson of don't give up. You want other lessons as well?
Well, I just want to mention something, because, a lot of times we get on social media and we think we're looking at the vanity metrics and we're like, oh, I got 2 likes. Oh, I got 1 like.
Mm-hmm.
And we need to get in the habit of looking at the entire metrics, of everything we do. So
Yes.
it's, because you got that 1 like, but then you got 500 views. That means
Mm-hmm.
500 people saw your stuff.
Yep.
And so many people look at it, they're like, nobody's liking my stuff, or no one's listening to my podcast. And so they let little things like that cause them to quit.
Yeah.
And you have to keep going. You have to keep going. You don't know who you're inspiring. Most of my clients are people that have never liked anything that I've ever done.
Mm.
And yet they've invested money in me. And I've never heard of them prior to them, enrolling with me. And then they'll tell me that, I kept seeing you and I kept listening to you. And that's what inspired me to enroll in your program. That's so true. Never give up. What's number 2?
Number 2, think long term. It more or less marries itself to the don't give up, because sometimes you look at a video that you might have put out. So sometimes I do like words of the day, and I'm like, the audio is messed up. Oh, I should have angled it right. I should have held my camera longer. I should have used the stand. All types of thoughts. Oh, I should have been louder or more creative. But when you have a long-term track of what you're doing, people can look at your flaws and be entertained by it. Some people don't even care for that. They just want to hear the message. And so when you think long-term of, you know what, all right, I messed up, but I'll get better. You don't quit from your mess ups. You don't quit from, the bad days, or maybe not letting the interviewees speak more. You learn from it. People are interested in your process. Denzel Washington's of the world, the Jay-Z's, all these people had a process, but you can't quit because of a mess up or someone not liking you or whatever. Think long term and get better. Think long term and do what's right. Think long term, trademark your idea. You may think it's a small, little podcast on Instagram. Ain't no big deal. No, because bet you me, someone is looking at and that's a catchy name. And next thing you know, you're watching TV and someone's like, oh, this is my Red Cup Talks. Excuse me. So you got to think long term and prepare for the success. Build for the success.
Let's talk about that for a sec, because you have a couple of trademarks, right? You have the Red Cup Talks, and you mentioned you trademarked your entertainment company name, correct? Or did you?
Entertainment, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So, you have people that will start a podcast. They won't purchase the domain name. They'll start a coaching program. They won't purchase the domain name. And, I think with trademarking, you got to make sure that's the name you're going to stick with, because it's not cheap to trademark anything. So you want to make sure you're sticking with the name, but people are afraid to go the distance. They want to be in it for the sprint when it comes down to entrepreneurship, because they don't think of what they're doing as a profession, because they got the hustle mindset. And we need to think about what we're doing and not have that hustle. Everything is not a hustle. If you want to do a hustle, then do a hustle, but stop trying to flex online like you in it for the long term and you making all this money. And meanwhile, you just as broke as the people you're talking to. Right. So, And the other thing is too, I love what you said about the process. Because people get in it and they get into their business and they don't enjoy the process. They want the outcome instantly. And it takes a long time to have the outcome. And whether we're looking at, people like Denzel Washington, who long before he was the Denzel Washington we knew today, he was on like little plays and TV shows that people don't even think of right now. So everything is a process. And the same thing with every great entrepreneur you see, everything started with an idea. And you got to go through the process. You have to think long term, and you have to be willing to put in the work to get the results that you want. And if you don't want to put in the work, what do you think you're going to get from that? There's no such thing as, instant success.
No, not at all. You're absolutely right. The process. It's funny that you say that, and you said also the hustle. I literally heard someone use that same analogy. I know your podcast reaches out to everyone, so I don't want to just single certain people out. But they were talking about Black ownership and how we only. It's projected that by the end of this year or something that we will only own a certain small percentage of businesses, yet we consume the most. He was talking about also sole proprietor. Basically, that certain business models are a hustle strategy instead of a business corporate strategy where you're thinking about long term. So when you're constantly hustling, you don't have the time to think long term. So if you're the only one getting the profits and you don't hire people that do what you can't, you can't enjoy the long fruits of the labor. You can't enjoy the process because you're so busy getting things together, doing it on your own, hustling. You don't have time to be creative and have a strategy and have a vision and be long term. So it's very funny that you said that. And process, that's been like the word I've been hearing for like the whole, since last year. Mm-hmm. Enjoy the process. Life's about seed. You want to grow. So yeah, very, very, very great, very interesting and true.
Absolutely. Number four.
Let's see. We said don't quit. We said think long term.
We talked about the dream. Don't forget about the dream that you have. Yeah.
Yeah. No, don't forget about it. For me, it's remember your why. Remember your why. Every entrepreneur that I talk to has a why, whether it's children, whether it is, breaking bad habits from your family. Maybe it is providing a service for the market. Whatever your why is, don't forget it because you can get lost in a big profit. You can get lost in recent success. So like little example, if I put on a play, I actually did play in June. It was great, great turnout, things of that nature. You had the biggest buildup to that play, and now you finished it. What do you do now? So it's like, all right, yes, I did the play. What do I do now? But if you remember your why, that I'm not just doing it for this play, I'm doing it for the long term so that I can get my name out there. I can get my business out there. I can market certain things. So you never forget your why. When you don't forget your why, you won't get bored by recent or brief success, in my opinion. Don't forget your why.
And let's break that down a little bit more because there's people that never even establish a why. They don't know why they're doing anything. And it's part of that robotic mindset they may have had, in their 9 to 5. They're still in their 9 to 5. You get up, you go to work, and their only why is I got to pay my bills. And so, yeah, that's their only why. And they never really sit down and establish what their why is for starting a business. And so it gets contorted in a sense because they're thinking my why is to, I need to make more money, or my why is to do this. And you got to dig deeper into why you want to do what you want to do. So when you're thinking about, okay, I want to make more money. Okay, why do you want to make more money? Well, I want my kids to go to a good school. Well, why do you want your kids to go to a good school? Well, I want my kids to have opportunities. Well, why do you want kids to have opportunities? Well, I didn't have the, opportunities as a child. My family was poor. Well, why is it important to you that your child breaks that cycle? And the deeper you get, the more meaning you're going to have and the more purpose you're going to find in everything you're doing, because people are jumping in and out of businesses because their only why is they want to make more money.
Yeah.
And when you're talking about, leaving your 9 to 5 and having the revenue from your business to be able to do that, you need to be able to ride the storm. You need to be able to understand why you're doing things. Because just like you said with the play, right? This play, it depends on where it falls in all the other plays you've done. But people will turn down an opportunity because it wasn't big enough. They don't want to start in where they need to start to get where they need to be. And they don't want to look at how they can leverage what, that opportunity, because that's what it is. It's an opportunity. And how can you leverage that? You leverage it for bigger opportunities. So people have this concept contorted about their why, or my why is, I need to make more money. This job is BS, but why do you need, why? You go 7 layers deep, and maybe you won't jump in and out of those business ideas so fluently and so easily, because your only reason is to see how much money you can make. And then when you don't have the long-term mindset and you're doing all this other stuff that we just mentioned are the recipes for success, that people jump over. They jump over. They don't want to learn the process. No. They don't want to do any of that. They just want the instant cash, and it's not how it works. Yeah, I always share the story about fidget spinners when I talk about business.
Say that again?
Fidget spinners. So remember fidget spinners?
Yes, I know. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I think it was around 2016, 2017, fidget spinners. Everybody was using them. Everybody from the everyday person to the NBA, like everybody was using fidget spinners. And people jumped on it. They built their entire businesses around the fidget spinner because what they saw was an opportunity in their mind to, just make money.
Yeah.
And, you can make some money short term, but you got to ask yourself, where are all those people now that built businesses around fidget spinners? I think the trend lasted like 6 months. And so how much money did you make in that short time frame? And now you're probably right back at your 9 to 5 because you didn't go through the process. You didn't have a why beyond wanting to make money. You just hopped on something.
Yeah.
And now you're right back where you started.
Yeah.
So having a why beyond wanting to make 6 figures, wanting to make this money or, more money than what you're making in your 9 to 5. Yeah, it's important to do that. But why do you want to do it?
No, absolutely. I wanted to say this is my next lesson. It kind of ties into knowing your why, but your mindset is like, that is so important. And it's not like you learn it and then you move on from it. You have to continuously remind yourself, mindset. This is why I'm doing this. This is why I'm here right now. And I'm trying to make that leap to wherever that leap is. Because when I tell you, from going from a 9 to 5, and there's no shade to anyone that's on a 9 to 5, there are entrepreneurs that are on 9 to 5s. I get it. But the mindset to say, all right, because for me, when I've worked in several other places, it's the mindset of I'm going there, doing my best. I put aside family and all this other stuff just to be here. And then when it's time to work for you, you don't have that same effort. Right. You don't have that same drive. And the mindset of, no. I've worked for them. I've given them hand over fist of whatever that is that I've worked for. So when it comes to me, I can't slack off. That mindset from every entrepreneur, they have the mindset. Yes, there are definitely times where they've been down. They've been out, they've doubted themselves. Hard times have happened, things of that nature. But the mindset to continue, the mindset that it's not always going to be like this. Like I admire the Steve Harveys of the world, and even my good friend Matthew Johnson that went through some crazy stuff while building their business and yet continued and pursued. Because once the eviction letter is on, I'm like, going back to job, going back to going back to however you make money. But to have the consistency and the persistence and the diligence to keep moving forward, mindset is key. It's key. It's key.
Let's talk about a couple of things related to mindset. So, first off, shout out to everybody working the 9 to 5. There's nothing wrong with it. If you have a vision, it doesn't make you less of an entrepreneur. I just want to put that out there because some people think that as well. And the other thing, when you talk about mindset, how does one develop that mindset to, maintain a level of success? Because like you mentioned, there's mountains, there's valleys, especially in entrepreneurship. You're not always going to be on top. And if someone's telling you it's your fault if you're not on top all the time. They're lying to you. They're lying to you because everybody goes through mountains and valleys, especially the average entrepreneur. Nobody's on top 100%. And, when you look at, any successful entrepreneur, just like they've had things that did well, they've also had a ton of failures, things that didn't work out. And people forget that. They come in and they have the mindset that they need to be perfect, or everything needs to be perfect, and everything doesn't need to be perfect, but you do need to take action. You have to be, have a mindset of taking action, having a mindset that it doesn't need to be perfect. So let's talk about how you maintain a mindset for success, just kind of piggybacking off of that.
Me personally?
Yeah. Or, just in the people you work, you interview, you personally, infuse everything in there.
For me personally, I'm still learning. Because there have been times where things don't look things don't look the way you wanted it to look. There have been times where this is a good one. You listen to the voice of others rather than the voice of your own vision.
Mm-hmm.
You believe those that, for whatever reason, you held in high regard than your end goal. You doubt your own process. You doubt you said valleys and peaks. That's what you said, right? Yeah. You doubt that you forget that you overcame valleys, peaks, based off of someone else's opinion or someone that you not look up to, but you held in high regard. So when you forget those things, you listen to negative voices, or things don't seem the way they should. You then doubt yourself. You then complain. Oh, that's the worst. You complain. You see negative, so now your vision's tainted. You get bitter and you say, I should have, would have, could have. If I only did this when I was 18, or if I only finished college, or if I only, was a nicer person on the job, or whatever. You rehash things. You live in the past instead of living in the now. So what I'm practicing, and this kind of goes into my next point, but let it flow. I thank God for a good friend of mine, Jalissa Lecky. She said, stay present. Mm-hmm. When you stay present, you understand that the past is the past. Whatever you messed up, and there's nothing you can do about it. So just move forward. Stay present so you can build. When you build a house, you don't lay the brick down and say, oh, I did that for the day. No, you keep building. And then unless you are a master house builder, you get other people to help. So you get your experienced people that have been there, and you rely on their experience. You reach out to those that are around you, and you let them help you build. Because so many times we have the self-made millionaire mentality, and it's like, no, you need a group of people to help you. If you need help, ask for it. It would be crazy if you went to the beach and someone's drowning and they wouldn't ask for help. That's silly. Well, that's what it is with entrepreneurship. If you need help, ask, rely. And you may think that the person that's had that business but's not showing the money, or not, very quiet, is an unreliable source. But if you sit down and have a conversation with them, you realize, oh, wow, maybe I don't know it all. So, that's what's helped me. And also, we call it renewing your mind, but reminding yourself of where you're going, and that you've overcome some stuff before, to do it again. So constantly reminding yourself, okay, this is why. Okay, I gotta be successful. Done this before. I've done a good job. For me, it's remembering my little victories so I can win the war. Remembering, hey, I auditioned for this play and no one knew me, but they like me. We're still running. I did when I was filming. Hey, I magically got random people to meet up and be a part of something, and no drama, no issues. Everybody was friendly. It was just good vibes. So apparently you're doing something right, instead of reminding yourself of all the negatives. Oh, how am I going to get funded? Forget all that. All right, learn it from next time. But right now, you got to finish. You got to keep going. You can't give up. Your kids are depending on you. Your great grandkids are going to look back and say, that dude, Grandpa Obed, he did. Thank you. You know what I mean? So that's what reminds me of my success when because we all have bad days, and sometimes you just listen to the wrong voices. I'll say it that way, because no one can really stop you. You stop yourself when you listen to foolishness. So reminding yourself, hey, I am this. I can do this. It's not that difficult. I've gotten this far. I can't turn back now. So
Yeah, people forget what they overcome and how that plays a role in their ability to overcome all of those peaks and valleys that they encounter in their business. Because if they look at their life, they've overcome, I'm sure, something much more worse than maybe, not getting sales that week or something else, And you made a good point. You talked about people trying, not asking for help and trying to do it alone, thinking they're going to be that next self-made, millionaire or whatever the case may be. And again, people need to read more, and they really need to study the craft and study those that, that they're trying to emulate. They're looking at these people on the outside, but they're not taking the time to do the research and see how did that person get to where they are. Yeah, we know Amazon, but Amazon was a bookstore in his garage.
Mm-hmm.
And when we think about and he's had failed, there's so many things that he launched in between that failed.
Yep.
And we look at Amazon and look what he's self-made and all of that. Everyone has had some help at some point. They've had someone advise them. They may not have advised them in any formal sense as a coach or anything, or maybe they did. But there was something that he got, bits and pieces that he got along the way that enabled him to build a business, or funding that he got for him to take things to the next level. Someone may have handed him a book and say, hey, read this. And he got inspired by it. So there's different levels of asking for help. And once you open yourself up and you tell people what you're doing, because a lot of times people build businesses in silence. They are in the background building a business because they don't want to put themselves out there. Because if I put themselves out there and I fail, everybody's going to be laughing at me or whatever the case. And once you put yourself out there, that's when you'll open yourself up to opportunities. And I just want to say this other thing too about mindset. What you're putting in your mind every day is so important. And you have these words of the day, and if you have a chance, in a moment, Obed's going to show how you can, tell you how you can connect with him and reach out. But he posts these words of the day because he's inspired by things he sees and people that he meets. But when we think about what we infuse into our mind every day, think about how we wake up. And I actually posted something about this today, how we wake up in chaos. And then we expect to, build this $1 million business or this 6-figure business. And we wake up in chaos because we get up, we're not setting ourselves up for success right from the start. We get up, maybe we watch the news to see what traffic is going on. We got our phones and we looking at everything, and then we go to work, we get angry. Or maybe even if you have a good day at work, traffic or your commute makes you angry. And then we come home and we don't have the energy to build a business. So even if you're working a 9 to 5, there's a few things you can do to develop your mindset in a way that reduces some of the mental anguish that you're bringing on yourself, because you don't need to know everybody's drama. And, a lot of times with Facebook, I may hop on for business, but I may not really get on until midday or later on because I'm working on my business. I don't have time to see, who's angry, who's upset, that they didn't get support for their stuff. Meanwhile, they ain't supported nobody, by the way. They ain't support nobody. And they, and they ranting. I don't have time for that. I don't have time. So I get on later in the day. So look at, how you're waking up, what you do when you first wake up. And one of the things that really helped me a lot is having vision, because you talked about that too, having that vision. And if you don't have vision, you don't know where you're going. And you got a lot of people trying to get somewhere and they have no idea where they're going. So they're aiming at nothing because they're not establishing a process.
Yes.
They don't have a process for going to nothing because they ain't set no vision for nothing. So
no.
And so, start with having that vision. And one thing that really helped me gain vision, especially because my entrepreneurship journey, just like everyone else, has been rocky. You deal with things in life, but it goes beyond the vision board. Sit down and write. And actually, I got this from Steve Harvey. This was years ago. And he was, like you write down 300 things that you want. And I heard that one day, and this was a day like I was down in the dumps. I was still early in business, and I was like, oh, where am I going to come up with 300 things I want? And he says, like you're going to struggle to come up with these 300 things. Like you good until you get to 75 and then 100. You're good. Like it's free flowing. And then you get to 75 and you're like, what do I really want? And that exercise helped me actually learn how to dig deep into what I really wanted in my business and life and what's important to you, because it's family stuff, it's business stuff, it's everything you want. And I kid you not, when I look back at some of those 300 things that I came up with, things that I wanted, I'm now crossing things off the list. I'm not going to say I crossed off all 300, but having that vision, I've gotten halfway through. And it really is about, having a vision, because your vision board is very limited and it does nothing if you make it and it sits in your closet. But you got to have that vision. You got to update things. And so, you write down the 300 things, but then now you need to write down 300 more things, and let's see where you at. Take the things that haven't come to fruition yet, and let's jot them down and add to it. But when I looked at that list, it's actually inspiring, because I look at the list and I'm like, wow, a lot of these things have come to pass because I put them out there.
Yes.
And I put them out there, and I wrote diligently. I wrote it every day.
You just got me excited because, again, like with the lessons that I've learned, I did a word of the day a while back, and it was about building. I took a video of a building that was under construction, basically giving the analogy that even though it looks like nothing right now, in a couple of months, it's going to look like something. And with the word vision, also, it's not about where you're going. It's about how you see yourself right now. That is very, very important, because when you're busy, trying to play catch up with your bills, trying to get out of debt, you sometimes forget about now because you're so busy chasing tomorrow. And not saying that, you shouldn't get out of debt or you shouldn't pay your bills. Yes, please do that. But take time ever so often to look at yourself and say, I am, if that's an actor, I am a great actor. I am a great director. I am an entrepreneur. I am a successful entrepreneur. Those self-talks with a red cup, sure. And improve it really could improve your day. Because like you said, you might get up and during the day, something might happen, something might throw you off. But if you take time, go in that bathroom or take a selfie, I am such and such. I am a great employee. I am a great manager. I am a great husband, a great wife. I am that. You got to speak that and believe that, because life sometimes will test you. It's going to test you. After you say those affirmations and I'm this, that, the third, oh, this is a great one. Every time, I kid you not, I say I'm going to have a great day. I go outside, I'm driving. Someone cuts me off. Someone flips me the finger out of nowhere. I feel like I'm in the Matrix and, Mr. Anderson, it's just like, what the hell? Where did this come from? But I remind myself now, I'm getting better at this. Shouts out to my wife. To just not focus on the negative, stay present, be positive. I'm not going to be positive. All right. I'm being positive. And so, with vision, it's not just about the future. It's also about how you see today, how you see your present state. That's so important. But you were saying a lot of things, and I just had to get that out. But yes.
No, that's super important. And that's when you want to say your affirmations the most, when you feel down, when you get the finger when your commute isn't doing well. You can get inside your head and say so much, but it all starts with, making a commitment to forget about what's happening now. Because people have a struggle to say, well, I can't say I'm a successful entrepreneur because I ain't successful. And it's like, you probably won't be now because you've already had that mindset that you're waiting on success to happen before you speak it into existence.
Man, it is so like you're literally saying a conversation I had with my wife. We were driving. I was just looking back. I was a negative Nancy. Like everything that ticked me off for the day, I was just saying. And she's like, babe, you don't like I know you are going through it, and I'm like, no, you don't understand. And then I had to take time to calm down and realize, I was super negative. Like, what is wrong with me? And then you analyze your life. What made you this way? Where did you give up? All right, you've been negative for 6 months or a whole year, maybe 5 years. What caused that? Go back. And if you got to apologize to yourself, if you got to forgive yourself, if you got to let some stuff go, do it so that you can become a more effective person in your present state. Because I can't change what I didn't do right 6 months ago. I can only change my today and my tomorrow. So,
and anybody that's in your head that's not supporting you, that's not adding to the positivity that you need in your day, distance yourself from them and distance yourself from them fast, because they are going to be the contributor to you not doing well. They're just sucking your energy and your time, and they ain't bringing nothing to the table. So let's get into, Obed, let's talk about like what projects you're working on and where people can find you.
Okay, so I'm proud to say that back in June 17th of this year, we did a play called The One Woman Man Play. It was in Jacksonville, Florida at the Ritz Theater and Museum. And it was a great time. We had 2 shows and it was wonderful. And for those of you in the Florida area, we're going to be in Eustis. Is it Eustis, Florida? Let me just make sure it's right. Yes, Eustis, Eustis, Florida. We're going to be there February 24th at the Theater 1901. Theater 1901 in Eustis, Florida. We're bringing the One Woman Man Play there. I'm a part of this wonderful company, theater group called the 294 Experience. And we're bringing the One Woman Man Play, which I am starring and headlining in. So you don't want to miss it. It's fun. It's exciting. It's me, the gospel sex symbol. So come through and be entertained. But I'm also, for my film company, Out the Womb Entertainment, that's one word, Out the Womb Entertainment, on Instagram. I am about, you know what? I'm going to finish my first film, Destiny. It's going to be out this year, and follow me for details. Follow us on Instagram for behind the scenes footage. Follow me on YouTube for 2 skits that I put up. It's the Uber Chronicles Experience. Really funny, nice comedy. You don't want to miss it. And so follow me on those 2 platforms, and you'll get further details on when it is released. And last but not least, in December, and this is where you follow me at either OR Berg on Instagram or Obed Burgess on Facebook. I will be releasing I'm a part of a wonderful church. We are doing a church Christmas play, and it is Spread Your Wings. Spread Your Wings. And it deals with, my God, it's touchy. It deals with loss. It deals with loss. It deals with encouragement. It deals with celebrating through loss, moving forward but not forgetting. We have a conflict with a pastor. I'm giving away a little bit, so hopefully it'll be out by when this airs. But there's conflict that arises, and we see if he overcomes it or not. And my prayer is that play inspires those that have dealt with it. 2020 was a crazy year, and a lot has happened before then and after then. And so many people are dealing with that, especially around Christmas time. The seat's not there anymore. It's an empty seat. So come through, be blessed, be inspired. And I hope to see you guys there. I hope to see you there. It's in Brooklyn, New York. Follow me for your details. It's in 576 Ralph Avenue, the Ocean Hill section of Brooklyn, no longer Crown Heights, Ocean Hill.
Oh, wow.
So,
and they did that for what? The change.
I don't know. But yeah, those are some things that I'm working on. Mm-hmm. And we have some nice skits and things of that nature. And just follow me. Outdoor Entertainment, Red Cup Talks for my words of the day, and wonderful interviews. I'd love to have you back on. You're so great. I'll have you down on twice. And just follow me. I'm growing. I want you to grow with me. Let's grow together.
Awesome. So I just want to thank you, Obed. I know you're busy. And, I just want to thank you for hanging out with me. I want to thank you for the wisdom that you brought to this conversation. And I just want to encourage people to follow Obed. He has a lot coming down the pipe. And, the interesting twist, with all the different plays coming up, as you can see, he's entertaining anyway. And so the gospel sex symbol.
Exactly. Say it twice. But before we go, I just want to raise a toast to you for continuing this wonderful podcast. You are an inspiration. Whether you know it or not, you inspired me. There are many times where, you got to be talked off the ledge. You got to be talked off the ledge of business. You want to give up. You want to go back to whatever you're used to. And seeing sometimes your inspiration, your short, subtle clips on Instagram have inspired me to continue moving forward. So here's to you. May you continue being the great, awesome person that you are. Continue pushing when times are tough. And may you continue to be elevated, because as you elevate others. Here.
Oh, thank you. I'm going to wait. I got my tea mug.
Get your tea. That's right.
So thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate that, Obed. And I appreciate you. And, us, connecting and being connected over these last several years since the pandemic, right? Yeah. Since the pandemic. Yeah. Yeah. So I appreciate you. I want to thank you for coming on the Boss Experience podcast, and for everyone else, thank you for tuning in. And I can't wait for you to tune in to a future episode of the Boss Experience podcast. Don't forget to subscribe so you know every time I release a new episode. Take care and be well.
Be well. God bless.
Thank you for tuning in to the Boss Experience podcast. Don't forget to leave a review for this episode and tune in next time.